Well, we're going to talk about all of this now with France24's Angela Diffley, who joins me on the set. Angela, we're going to be hearing from the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer shortly, who's going to be speaking in East Sussex about other issues. I'm sure this will definitely come up in the questions. But let's go back to yesterday, where there were these moments of real drama there in the House of Commons over these debates about what was to be released in the public domain in regard to this. What was finally decided? What documents are coming out?
Yeah, there was a rebellion by Starmer's own party. The original idea was that the government would decide which documents should be released of the numerous documents pertaining to Peter Mandelson. And there was a rebellion led by somebody who is widely seen to be as a challenger to Keir Starmer, Angela Rayner, on his side of the House. What was decided in the end is that a cross-party parliamentary committee will decide which documents are to be revealed and which are not. And the problem around all of this is that there could be damage to international relations if some of these documents are to be released. But the Parliament felt that, any accusations of a cover-up must be stopped immediately. There is fury on Keir Starmer's own side, let alone all of the other parties in Parliament over this business, and a real wish for there not to be a cover-up. Therefore, there was this rebellion, and they were forced to change what they wanted and instead go for this parliamentary committee to decide what could be released and what couldn't be released. Also, when it emerged that Keir Starmer knew that the relationship had continued between Mandelson and Epstein after Epstein's conviction, but he said he didn't realise the depth of the relationship because Mandelson had lied, that raised so many questions about judgment, about the vetting procedure. Is it rigorous enough if you can simply lie and get away with it? On Keir Starmer's side, he would have liked to release documents which showed how Mandelson had lied, but apparently the Metropolitan Police warned him not to do that. They said it could prejudice further down the line. They're now conducting a criminal investigation into Peter Mandelson, and they therefore said he shouldn't release any of those documents, which might have helped him. This, of course, because Mandelson, it's not only his association with a convicted sex offender, it's also the fact that it is thought from emails, released very sensitive market-sensitive information straight from cabinet talks to Jeffrey Epstein. That is to be investigated.
Now, the Prime Minister's position was already very fragile before all of this. Is there any chance he could be toppled by this scandal?
Well, I think it's puzzling for outsiders. You look at that gigantic landslide that Keir Starmer had just in 2024, just 18 months ago, and it seems unthinkable that he could be in such a fragile situation. But, there is, a lot of analysis now saying, well, anybody would have won that 2024 election. The Tories were in such disarray. They were considered to be exhausted, busted flush after so many prime ministers in such a short time. Any other significant party would have won. So there isn't a great deal to that victory. And behind that victory, the Labour Party is very, very factional between the hard left and the centre ground, the centre left in the Labour Party. There is an awful lot of infighting. There are very many people who lost the leadership battle, who remain angry and still hope to fight for what they see the Labour Party should be standing for. So it's very, very factional. They all dislike intensely Keir Starmer's chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, who they consider to have pushed them aside. So there's an awful lot of ill feeling already within the Labour Party. The mood yesterday, I've talked to some people, was fury at the handling of all this, at the fact that yet again, after a series of misjudgments, miscalculations over policy, U-turns from this government since Keir Starmer came into power, here is yet another mess that they will have to face their constituents with. There are local elections coming up in May. It is thought that perhaps this saga over Jeffrey Epstein, Peter Mandelson, absolutely will not improve things, but it's thought that perhaps at that point Keir Starmer might let go his chief of staff.
Angela, thank you for that.